When I was 7, my teacher made us do something every single day. Stand up, face the class, recite the multiplication table out loud together. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, every day. I could recite the entire table without stopping. But here is what nobody knew. I didn't understand what I was saying. I just memorized the sound. 8 times 9. Knew the sound 72, but I didn't know it meant 8 groups of 9 things. I didn't know multiplication was about patterns. What about relationship? And then calculator showed up in the classroom. The real understanding of the table took me years to understand. Teacher said, ban the calculators. Stop it. Students will never learn. They will become dependent. Some teachers even said, will this technology destroy learning? But we didn't ban calculators. We flipped the question. We stopped asking, can you recite the multiplication table? We started asking, do you understand how multiplication works? Eventually, students got better at math, not worse. Today, we are facing the same problem. We're having the same fears, and we are asking the same question. It's not about calculators this time, but it's about AI. I'm going to tell you how we're going to fix this. But before I get into that, let me show you how broken the current system is. November 2022, ChatGPT launches. Within months, 89% of students are using it. Investors, we spent $500 million on building AI detectors, softwares that scan text and then decide is it AI or human. These softwares fail 52% of the time. Let me put that in context. Imagine you walk through the airport security, the machine beeps, and then someone comes to you and says, we're sorry. Our machine says that you may be carrying something dangerous. We are 52% confident. That's about a coin flip chance. Any airport that operates like that will shut it down. But that's what we're doing to students every day around the world. A coin flip chance. It breaks my heart so bad. While I was doing this research, I met with a student who came to America about 6 years ago. English wasn't his primary language, so struggled with reading and writing. And then started using a tool called Grammarly. How many of us know Grammarly? Every text, every email, every article, every journal, it worked. Vocabulary expanded, sentence structure became a bit more sophisticated, at a stage became even polished. And then the AI detectors arrived. Now, every text is now being flagged as AI generated content. But it's not AI, it's 6 years of using a tool that works. In response, the student now deliberately misspells words, break down sentences awkwardly just to bypass the system, and sometimes take original work, pass it through a paraphrasing tool. That's $500 million. I got back home that day and I was so sad. I have a 15-month-old daughter who is right there sleeping. And I looked at her and I said, in a couple of years, she'll be writing her first essay. And I wouldn't stand her losing the context of our originality because of a tool that failed 52% of the time. So now, a student who have spent 6 years getting better at writing has to now pretend to be worse at it just to avoid being accused of cheating. On the flip side, I met other students who understand the game. They take the question from the faculty member, put it straight into ChatGPT, take the answer and put it into a paraphrasing tool to shake up the pattern a bit and then submit. And the detector says 0% AI, original work. It gets even worse. You step into the orientation of most schools today, they say, we have zero tolerance for any form of plagiarism, which is right. And then they say, including AI tools. You step into one classroom, the faculty says, I do not accept ChatGPT. I catch you with it, you lose some of your points. You step into another classroom, the faculty says, I don't have problem with AI. I know it's here to stay. Use it, but use it responsibly. So this is what the students are hearing. Use AI, don't use AI. Use it responsibly, but not that responsibly. They're stuck in this policy minefield. $500 million. The question that we've been asking has been, did AI write this? Maybe it's time to flip the question. Because you see, AI changes every few months. Sometimes it feels like every few weeks. If you're on LinkedIn, it feels like every day. Maybe we should start asking a new question. A question it seems like my high school teacher knew. Back then, when it comes to the class, and he randomly calls all the students and said, hey, stand up, come and explain what I just taught. Or stand up here, solve this equation, and walk us through your reasoning and how you got the answer. Maybe it's time for us to start asking students to be this question, but on an individual level. This question has been hidden in plain sight for over 2,000 years. I know we can solve this problem, but we just have to flip the question. The current model we have is a punishment model. The assumption starts from the part that every student is a potential cheater. And the goal is to catch them with an AI detector. What I propose is a proof model. Because of a lot of information that's available out there, the assumption is that every student wants to prove they understand. The goal is to verify learning, and the tool is not a detector, but a conversation. I think it's time for us to start having this conversation. Let me explain how it works. Imagine a system that, first of all, learns each student the resume, where they've worked, everything they've done, everything, every article, every journal for the past years that's online or that is fit the system. And then the AI then uses that same technology to ask each student question that is custom made for them. It creates a point between the question the faculty asked and the life experience of that student. That is a question that only them can answer. I've tested this and I know it works for the last 3 years. Imagine an MBA student submit a paper on why companies should embrace disruptive innovation. And then, after the submission, the system asks this question. This is a bold argument for disruption, but here is what I'm curious about. You spent years in logistics where stability is everything. How would you square that word caution with aggressive risk taking you are advocating? Because the system already figured out that this student worked at UPS for 4 years. And in logistics, stability comes before innovation. If that student wrote that paper, they will lighten up because this has created a connection between their life journey and the question. But if ChatGPT wrote it, they will just freeze. I know we can solve this problem if we flip the question. When I was 7, I could recite the multiplication table. but I didn't know what I was saying. From the University of Potomac in DC to Hart International Business School in Boston, I've spoken to over 600 students and 35 faculty members and students in 3 continents. And I know we can fix this problem. The best way to combat AI is with AI, but on a custom level for each student at scale. If you want to find out if someone learned something, don't scan their text. Just ask a question. And to be sure that my assumption that you guys are comprehending this same model, you comprehend with this model, is correct, I wouldn't want to make any form of assumption on this. So let me ask, do you understand? Thank you.